Saturday, February 18th, 2023. Michael Cook speaking. It's currently 5:56 p.m. I'm making this audio log to talk about terms that are rather offensive, which I sort of capitalized on earlier today. However, I'd like to expand upon that because I know that some of my language, it offends certain people, right? Or maybe my language will offend everybody, right? And then I have to rewind to like an audio recording that I made a few months ago, sort of like observing and analyzing some of George Carlin's rhetoric, right? Especially regarding the his skit from like the late sometime in the 70s regarding the 7 words that you'll never hear on the fucking TV, right? So already right there, I'm already whipping out the F word. So I'm sort of like being a Trollmeister 5000 already. But I'm not being a real Trollmeister. Not at all. No, I think the problem is that I'm being limited by people that are fucking stupid. And the reason why they're doing it is because they're jealous of how fucking intelligent I am. And they will use every fucking trick or trick in the book to try to limit me. And then make other people's perceptions of what I say or do to seem so offensive that like I should practically be in a prison or a jail cell for the amount of foul ass fucking things that I say. Right? So like what I'm doing is I'm exhibiting a sense of being more sophisticated than a lot of people that like follow the rules and got to where they are in society by doing what they were told and being a good little boy or girl that, you know, followed instructions, right? I can convey a sense of me being just as sophisticated as Rex Smith over at the Times Union or any of the journalists that work at the Times Union or the Gazette or the Saratogian or like the New York Post or WTEN or WRGP or WNYT, right? I exhibit a sense of being extremely sophisticated when I talk, right? And then like when I capitalize on something that's offensive and it goes against the conventional mold of society, I think what happens is that somebody that's been trying to contain me wants to make it so that I give up on myself, where other people, they give up on like reading or absorbing my content or what I have to say or produce, right? And this typically happens when I insult certain highly respected people, right? And then like I'll notice like some of these signs that I've hit the nail right on the fucking head when some of the numbers that I'm seeing, they're being skewed, right? So like if let me put it into perspective. So if I send a text message to some girl that like always wants to have sex with me, right? And had sex with her for many, many weeks. Every single time we started messaging, she's like, hey, want to have sex, right? So like if I establish that as a baseline, and I know that if I text some girl about having sex with her, she's going to text me back in like a few minutes to like an hour. She might be busy. Like, let's say on the worst occasion, she might be so busy that she doesn't get back to me within like an hour or two, right? So if I establish that as a baseline, and then like something fucking happens, or like I say something that really upsets her, or whatever, and then I like try to use the same tactics even more, and like she starts to come up with excuses like, oh, I fell asleep, or oh, I was going like grocery shopping with my mom and I left my phone at my other house. I just got back. I know it's been like 3 days, but you know, so what I'm doing right there is I'm illuminating that there's a reason why someone would say misleading things to me, or wouldn't be reporting the same sort of events. Or I might like, okay, so allow me to apply this to everyone else, right? Everybody else, they think like on a what happens today and that's it basis. They don't really think about like things in their future unless they're planning for something, like they're going to school or whatever. Or they don't really think a lot about their past unless they're thinking about like what they want to achieve in life or what they decided to be when they started going to school or whatever, right? So our society unwittingly trains people to throw out the idea of remembering things and being sophisticated, and society uses a range of tactics to try to like exude like dominance or control or whatever, right? So like I've been consistently uploading videos over the last couple of weeks, every day, maybe one video or multiple. Not all the videos have gotten attention or like whatever, but I've seen a consistent effort from like somebody working at either Google or somewhere in between me and Google, like seeing the content that I'm like uploading and then responding to it and like saying, yeah, that's cool, your content's cool or whatever, right? So what this causes me to believe is that it's always a factor, and if you start out doing something that upsets people at Google, then basically it's basically like putting yourself in a box and you're a plant, and the maximum shape that you will ever grow as that plant is the size of that box. You'll never be able to outgrow the box. You'll always be confined within the box because somebody made damn certain that like your maximum shape would be the size of that box, and therefore that allows you to only like to influence a certain number of people. And so like if you try to tell people, yeah, I could be way cooler than this fucking box that I'm in, and I'll talk about how fucking cool I am, and then like you try to like impress other people or like go outside of the box, what happens is like people will be like, well, why the fuck isn't this dude like on like HBO doing stand-up specials or some shit? Because what he's saying is genuinely funny, but like what'll happen is like some people will be like, well, if he is that funny, then why aren't people reacting to some of the shit that he's saying, right? And then what I'll say is that I've been being censored on Facebook by the owner of Facebook, like at an aggressive rate. And it's so aggressive that like when I mention him in some of the videos that I make, what happens is like there'd be like 0 views or something like that. It'd basically be like, what the fuck, a ghost town. And like this it's so fucking obvious that like something I'm doing is pissing off somebody with a lot of money, and it could be multiple people that I'm pissing off. They all have a lot of money, and they don't like when I talk about them because I think that some of them are fucking jealous as to how intelligent I am, and they didn't get to be where they are by like allowing people like me to have free reign like normal everyday citizens do. And then what this causes is like me to think of ways to like derive who would have those intentions. And like what you come to find is that there might be an evil trollmeister that is trying to like keep me as quiet as possible so that I cannot influence additional people nor get myself out of the position that I'm in, because the public opinion of me has been considered considerably reduced because of a number of fucking morons marring my character. And therefore, what this also causes is like sometimes I'll say something that's genuinely funny, or I'll reference something that's genuinely funny, and then I'll post it on like Facebook or on social media, and then someone will come along and then remotely connect to my device, and it'll cause the icons on my desktop to flash. So then I have to start talking about how I went to a bunch of places yesterday and then distributed a document. The document I talk about like all the work that I've been doing over the last couple of months. I can guarantee that most people aren't going to like consume all of that content. But what I can say is that I know for a goddamn fact that when I stopped at the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office, administrative office, and I said, hey, I'd like to speak to Michael Zerlo, the county sheriff, then what happened was Today is Friday, February 17th, 2023. Michael Cook speaking. I'm currently at 6012 County Farm Road. And I just asked the civil office to get somebody from the administrative office to talk to and see how this goes. Okay, thank you.
How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Jeff Brown, the captain here at the sheriff's office.
That's Captain Jeff Brown?
Yeah, that's me.
So you're the guy that I spoke to?
Maybe. What's your name?
Michael Cook?
Oh, I don't know. When would that have been?
You have an older guy named Captain Jeff Brown?
Tim Brown used to work. He was an investigator.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. A couple years ago.
Yeah. So he's the guy I spoke to on February 2nd, 2021, I believe.
That could be. Yep.
Is he related to you?
A cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
like a third cousin. So.
I wanted to drop this document off.
Oh, okay.
Mainly because I have been having an issue with getting in touch with Mr. Zerlo regarding a number of incidents.
Okay.
Dating back to 2020.
Who would you like me to deliver this to?
Mr. Zerlo.
Okay.
Now, before I let you go here,
Yeah.
all of those links go to a project that I've been working on, and I started a company to focus on digital security back in 2018.
Okay.
And I realized that you guys don't have like a cybercrime division. I've spoken with multiple deputies over the last couple of years.
Sure.
I've had a number of incidents with some of your deputies.
Okay.
And I've also would like to get information regarding an incident that occurred on June 28, 2022.
Okay. Is that on here?
It is not on there.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to write it down.
Yeah. You grab a pen here. Can I borrow a pen?
Cap, there's one right here.
Got one. One over here. Thank you. Give me that date again. June.
Yeah, it's you can write it. It's fine. 6/28, 2022.
And Michael, can I get a phone number for you?
Yep, 518
Yep.
406 8569.
Okay.
I don't have, well, there was an incident on that date
All right.
between me and my mother. And unbeknownst to me, my cell phone actually recorded the entire conversation that she and I had that entire morning.
Oh, good.
And I told the state police about that, and that is when they arrested me.
That wasn't very nice.
No.
What did they charge you with?
Basically resisting arrest, obstruction of like breathing apparatus or whatever. Basically, the statement I have a document that's on there regarding a statement that I wanted to put together. It includes backstory, and that's why I made the document. I've been having communication issues with many people in the department, not all of them.
Okay.
I want to make that very clear that like it's a very like individual basis.
Usually is.
Without giving you, I don't want to overload you with information
Yeah,
other
no,
than what I've given you right
I
there.
appreciate that. I see there's a lot of links on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I do is I'm an orator. Basically, I make audio recordings. I talk. I'm like a professor, right? So my mother and I had an altercation on June 28th, 2022. The altercation had something to do with me suspecting that she had ulterior motives for not wanting to talk about my father's murder in 1995.
All right.
So my father was murdered in Albany, New York on October 23rd, 1995. And I also, I performed I wouldn't call it an investigation prior to me starting the company, but after I started my company, I noticed that I think that there's more to the story behind my father's murder, as well as another cab driver that was also murdered at or about that time. Francine Barrow was a witness in the trial for the second cab driver that was killed. And I think that there's a group of people that were responsible for both of those events, and that they tried to kill me on May 26, 2020.
Okay. When you and your mom had your incident there where you got arrested by the troopers, what was the location of that? What was the address of that?
201D Half Moon Circle. So,
Where'd you grow up, Michael?
what's that?
Where'd you grow up?
At that address.
Okay. Did you go to Shen?
Yes.
What year?
2003.
Okay. Nice. All right, here's what I'm going to do.
So to give you some more information about what happened at the arrest, at the time of the arrest, there was a woman deputy that came in. She was a sheriff, and I tried to talk with her. And,
Is it this lady right here?
No.
Okay.
Nope. She's fine. She was pretty girl. I think she was a blonde-haired girl.
What year? This was 2000.
This was last year.
Okay. All right.
But basically, she showed up, and unbeknownst to me, my mother had already made a statement to Sarah DeRusso, the state police, right? And unbeknownst to them, they never corroborated my side of the story. And as soon as I told them that I had an audio recording that I uploaded prior to her making the 911 call, I went through and I transcribed the audio recording. I've tried to give it to my public defender, and the court is doing a really fine, swell job of kind of pretending it doesn't exist. And I'm guilty.
So is that case still open?
Yes.
Okay. And you have this audio recording?
Yes.
Okay.
So on that list right there,
Uh-huh.
let me indicate which one to you. Statement right there. So on that one right there, that has the links to it. I have there's 3 different versions of the sound file. The original one, it was very hard to hear, and it's a 16-hour recording. I edited it because basically when I say that I'm an orator, I walk around and I record myself.
How do I spell that? Order. How do I spell that word?
O-R-A-T. Basically, it's on the front. Orator. Oration. Last bracket right there. X for that, oration.
See that? Okay.
Orator. So orator is basically someone who's a professor. Well, maybe not necessarily a professor, but somebody that speaks out loud or practices public speaking.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm coming across as sounding professional or whatever, but it's because
Yeah.
So it's because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I practice this. I know I listen to myself speak. I listen to my recordings. I try to talk about things that are bothering me, things in the past. I make a very big effort to be considerate to not cross the red lines or the red flag area. But yeah, I basically talk about everything that I think of.
Oh, probably a lot of money to be made doing that.
Yeah, if I can get myself out of the situation.
Yeah.
So ever since I don't want to overload you. There's a lot of information on there.
Yeah, let me take this, and you want this delivered to Sheriff's Orlo?
It would be nice. I mean, to be perfectly clear, I think that he has been paying attention to me on either Facebook or through the community, and he's had his son, Paul Zerlo, come to my house multiple times. And rather than for me to make that speculation or assumption, I wrote a bunch of documents. I haven't had a conversation with him yet, if I have a conversation with him and I like what I hear and I believe him, then those documents, they're gonna be rewritten.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
Thank you.
in some of the documents that I've written, I have an audio recording of me speaking with the Captain Tim Brown.
Okay.
So he gave me a record that I needed. You know what? I'll wait until you digest some of this information.
Yeah.
And if you have like follow-up questions, feel free to call me.
All right. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Be safe, all right?
You as well. Take care. You don't even have a way to look through your own records to find a record that should exist. If you know,
Wasn't a case report written, otherwise I would be able to find it.
but no, Sergeant Welch told me that there was a call for service, so there should be a record of that. And the record that Sergeant Welch gave me is for a totally different date, and that date is May 23rd, when Scott Schelling originally responded to the incident at Stratton. It's not related to the 3 sheriffs that were involved at the Zappone dealership, or at least in front of it, on Route 9 on May 26th at approximately 1 a.m. There should be a record of that, and I should be able to contact the records department and be able to find that interaction that may not have my name on it. There is a record of that interaction because Sergeant Welch told me that it exists. So
Did you write the number down? Because if you had the number, I can look it up.
what I'm telling you is that the number that he gave me was for the wrong incident. So he doesn't know what it is.
Find it either.
So, like, is that how your records department operates? Some things get logged and some things don't. So, like, when someone calls,
Every interaction, no. Again, we handle 100,000 complaints a year.
there should be a call for service. That's what Sergeant Welch told me.
There should be, yeah. But without your name associated with it, did you dispatchers your name when you called?
What I find perplexing about this is that I can tell you that this record should exist, and you're going to tell me that the police officer went to that place to check the surveillance footage, but there's no record of that. That's what you're telling me.
No, the one that I read you, which is from 524. Well, 524 was the funeral home. Okay, let's see. That was not the one. Let me find the one where he checked the video. I got to find the right one. Again, I have 8 of them open.
Right.
This was on 527. And it happened at, we got the call around 12 o'clock. It happened around 10 o'clock, it looks like there.
Talking about 2003173? Is that what you're talking about?
What I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's not Center for Security. Totally different address, bud.
Okay, well, again, it's kind of hard to, you seem to think there's some wide-ranging conspiracy involving my department.
Well, no, it's not a wide-ranging conspiracy. I should be able to ask somebody at your records department or you for the record that should exist for a call for service where 3 Saratoga County Sheriff officers were in front of the Zappone dealership on May 26th at approximately 1 a.m. And all I'm getting so far from you is a heck of a lot of redirection and we have too much to do and this, that, and the other thing and making up excuses. You're telling me that... What you're telling me is that the Saratoga, that officer, Scott Schelling, went to that place after I told him on May 26th that there should be surveillance footage of me initializing a call to 911 services. What you're telling me is that they went to that place and already checked that surveillance footage and it didn't exist. But you're telling me that it was the wrong address that they did that.
Well, you're in an awful lot of them.
Well, yeah, no, I'm in a lot of them because of this one incident that, like, nobody can give me clear instructions or directions or... I'm asking you specific questions related to this ticket that should exist, and you're not able to answer it. You're redirecting.
I'm not redirecting. I can't find what you're looking for. Here's what I did.
So...
Hold up, May 26th, hold on. May
Okay.
26th, 2020. You said about 1 a.m., right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to put in 12:45 a.m. until 1:30. I've got 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 complaints here, 6 calls that we received during that time. I'm going to open up each and every one of them.
Okay. Now we're talking here.
Let me take a look at what they said. First one was a 911 call, cellular 911. Open line, no voice contact. That's the extent of what I know about that one. Let's close that one out. Second one.
What time did that call come in?
Let me go back. I can do this again. Let's see if I can even get a location. Let's see. It's in the Plant Road area, which is not that far down the road.
Yeah, I don't think that's related.
May not be. Voice contact, and they did attempt to recall. No answer on recall. Let's see this next one. The same area. Burglar alarm, code enforcement, water problem at a business. This is somebody reporting a verbal dispute. It does have a name associated with it, not your name, and this is not in that particular area of the county. Next one is for power lines down. The next one.
Well, I can.
Hold on, I'm going through every one of them. A power failure alarm at a business. That's not it.
Was that KeyBank?
Nope.
Because I remember on that night that.
Hang on for 1 second. I have another call coming in.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. So let me look at this last one here.
Okay.
Oh, this is a male out in front of Zappone's.
That's it.
White male, blue flannel shirt, brown hair, jumped in front of the caller's vehicle as they passed the location. They're alleging you jumped in front of their car.
What is that ticket number?
Is 2020 028 501 128 in the morning. You were not the caller. It looks like they were the caller because you jumped in front of their car.
Right. So, for a period of about, you said that was at 128?
Looks like the call was received at 128 in the morning.
Okay. So, I have a screenshot that says that I originally tried to call 911 at 12:05. Now,
Yeah.
I can prove that.
I didn't search back that far. I can search back that.
Well, hold on. No, I'm just trying to give you a trajectory of what happened that night. That way, if you are able to help me, and maybe with your experience, you'll be able to identify how you can do that.
Call 911. There's nothing I can do.
Well, what I'm trying to say here is that I'm giving you my recollection of that night. The attack began on May 25th and went into May 26th because it occurred at approximately 11:30. I uploaded some files from the Clifton Park Computer Answers network because I used to manage it. After I uploaded those files, a couple of kids wearing glasses, both wearing hats, approximately 6 feet tall. They were walking on opposite sides of the street, by the way, but it was rather late, so it seemed strange that anybody was out walking at all. Now, I had a short conversation with one of these kids, and I said, "Hey, you from around here?" And he said, "No, I am from around here, but I moved away and then I moved back." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he walks on, and as he's walking on, I typed something into my cell phone screen, and whatever I typed into my cell phone screen caused this kid to stop dead in his tracks. When he looked at his cell phone, several feet away, about 50 feet away, maybe 100 feet. Now, it could be coincidental. Maybe he was just happened to look at his phone at a certain time, and then he just stopped dead in his tracks and looked like he saw bad news. That's my impression was. At any rate, a couple other things happened. There was a kid at the laundromat that night. Pretty sure that place has surveillance footage, but there was a kid in a black Dodge at that gas station that was leaving. I'm sure they don't, but these are things that I had been attempting to inform somebody in your department.
The only crime I'm seeing here is disorderly conduct for obstructing a public roadway, committed by you.
Because I called 911, and those calls weren't making it to the dispatch station. So I was trying to get help somehow, which led to me, cutting this phone line to this house that I suspect.
Not going to answer me. I'm going to hang up the phone.
Okay.
What would you like me to do about a 911 call that never made it to my dispatchers?
Well, I'm not trying to have anything done about the 911 call, but what I am trying to do.
There's nothing I can do about that.
But you're saying that.
It happens all the time just because of bad cell coverage.
Right.
You ever been in the northern part of the county here? Cell coverage is terrible.
It shouldn't happen here in Clifton Park where there's 3 cell towers within a mile.
There are, but again, if there's a problem with Verizon or Sprint or AT&T's tower, what could I potentially even if you want to reach for the stars, what could I possibly do about that? Can I climb up there and check, make sure all the wires are plugged in?
No. What I'm suggesting is that you're saying that someone checked the surveillance footage, right, at the place that I, left the footage of me trying to dial 911. You're saying that exists, but you're getting reports mixed up.
I'm saying he looked at it. I didn't say he downloaded it and uploaded it to our system. I'm saying he viewed it.
Right. But he didn't look at the surveillance footage at Center for Security.
Right. Not as far as I can tell.
Right, but that's where the footage would be of me initializing it.
I closed those 8 tabs to open these 6 new ones. I thought that was the center. No, that she looked at was the one where you went into the business and were pestering the guy trying to look at his surveillance footage. And I think he chased you down the road is what it sounded like to me. That is the case that the deputy said. He viewed the footage, saw you wandering around the business, looking in a garage with a flashlight, and holding something in your hand, unable to tell him the quality of the video, whether it was even a cell phone or not.
Okay.
Well, it was, obviously, but most people have in their hands situations like that. But the quality of the video was not good enough to tell.
So something drew me to that area, and they can see the surveillance footage of me walking around that night.
Okay.
But they can't see the surveillance footage is not from the 24th. That's the problem. Is that I didn't walk around Eric Ketchkala's business on the 24th. I walked around Eric Ketchkala's business on the late 25th into the 26th, and it's being passed off as security footage that was on the 24th. That's what's happening here.
Back there, you're going to
I'm not going to go back there. But what I'm trying to say is that, hey, maybe I can just, say that recorded footage from one date is on an entirely different date and have some charges filed against somebody, which is what's happening to me. Which is why I have so many incidents with the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office and the New York State Police since May 26, 2020. Is because somebody's doing that. And like I could tell you till I'm blue in the face, but you're going to say, look, guy checked the surveillance footage of the wrong place.
On the well-being of your mental health, Michael.
Well, I'm sure that my mental health is being called into question here, but what I'm calling into question is, like, cops are ignoring evidence that I'm saying exists. And because that's what I'm saying is that at Center for Security, there should have been surveillance footage of me initializing a call to 911. And that's what I told Scott Schelling.
Crime was committed then. What? You tried to call 911 and you couldn't.
Right, but...
Do you understand why I'm frustrated having the same conversation over and over and just running in circles? You tried to call 911, the call didn't go through. What the hell would you like me to do about that? I'm a police officer. I deal with crimes. Nothing you are describing here is a crime except those committed by you, most of which you've been arrested for, a couple you've been lucky enough not to.
Yeah, and you...
I'm tired of having the same conversation over and over again. I am out of patience.
Okay, look, man.
Would you like the number for the General Consulate in New York?
No, man, because I understand why you're frustrated and you're just...
I'll give it to you.
Look,
It's fact number 2.
I'm not frustrated with you.
I'm frustrated with you.
I'm sure you are because
You are having a mental health problem.
No, I'm not having a mental health
I'm
problem.
on the phone for damn near an hour when I have other very important things I have to work on. You have not described a single crime except those committed by yourself.
No, I did describe a crime of these kids attempting to hit me with a car.
The one,
License plate Delta Victor Alpha 2450.
the other side of that story is you jumped in front of the car.
No, totally different car, dude. You want to make assumptions about
Goodbye.
which car I'm talking about?
If you're not happy with the service you're getting from the sheriff's office, you have a choice in law enforcement. Number for the state police is 583-7000.
They haven't been helpful either.
Well, I'm not of much help either, except you've wasted an hour plus.
No, man, you have been helpful. You gave me an interaction number that I didn't have before.
The CIA, the FBI, and the NSA, okay? 2 of those agencies aren't even allowed to operate domestically.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they'll make an exception for you because you're that important.
Well, everybody makes assumptions, right? So it sounds like you're assuming that this is
I'm making
all in my head.
I'm making an educated decision based on the facts as they are known.
As they are known. Yes, and some of those facts being incorrect facts being known.
Well,
Like my neighbor swinging a baseball bat at me and Mark Sheehan not writing that in his report. I called 911 that day on June 12th or June 13th, by the way.
Had a different story than you, and you were the one.
Yeah, no, that's what's happening is that a lot of these police officers are writing totally fabricated reports. And that's why when I call a guy like you and asking for corroboration or assistance, you give me a hard time saying that I'm the troublemaker and that I've been arrested for this, that, or the other thing. But you're not listening to the key critical thing here where I initialize a call.
Opinion of what happened. That's all I'm listening to, okay? All it is.
Scott Schelling should have gone and checked that surveillance footage because he tried to arrest me that night. He tried to arrest me for jumping in front of a car because I tried to call 911 and the call didn't go through. And then I...
Arrest you, this would be a lot easier because I wouldn't be able to talk to you about it. Because your right to counsel would apply. It would make my life a lot easier if he had arrested you for it.
Well, why would he arrest me? What grounds would he have for arresting me?
You could find all sorts of stuff that would fit you jumping in front of a car.
No, somebody stated that I jumped in front of a car. That doesn't mean that it's accurate.
I think it's sub 7.
What's that?
Okay? This conversation's over. If you want the number for the Russian consulate in New York, I'll gladly give it.
Look, man,
But
I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but you're not even looking at any of these pictures or any of my testimony or any of the documents that I put together. You're telling me that no crime has been committed, but you haven't seen anything to make that determination.
I've never seen a drone disguised as a bird.
Right, but you also haven't seen the video or heard the audio recording that I have.
Nor do I want to see the video or hear the audio recording of
But isn't that your job if you're supposed to be a cop?
Mockingbird.
You should
Right?
want to check that out, right? Somebody should want to check that out. Who could I report that to?
There's nothing I want to hear less.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that Deputy Whitaker...
The book To Kill a Mockingbird again after this conversation.
Look, buddy, I can tell you're getting frustrated here, but I've been as frustrated as you are right now for the last several months.
You think I'm frustrated? This has been a long waste of my time. I've done my best. I've been more than patient, okay? You need to concentrate your efforts on your doctor at mental health.
Okay, buddy.
Goodbye.
They sent out a couple of dudes. The one, I don't know what the other dude's name was, but the dude that came out and talked with me, he seemed to be a rather professional sounding dude, and he seemed to be impressed with my ability to orate. He didn't know what the term was, but then at some point after I had this conversation with him, I started to reflect on the conversation that I had with him, and I had varying degrees of perceptions regarding the interview that I had with this guy, and I recorded it on an audio recording, and I don't know if he is aware that I did that, and I started to get this feeling as if there is a group of people that go around silencing certain people in order to reduce their exposure to the rest of the world, either because that person is extremely fucking intelligent and they want to contain that person, or it could also be because somebody is very jealous and is very worried that somebody like me might be on the right track, and then they have to mislead me and send out an investigator that has a totally different voice than the Jeff Brown that I spoke to back on February 2nd, 2021. And I know that the person that I was speaking to was the person that I referenced because the voicemail prompt, the name and the voice sounded totally different. And the guy that I spoke to, I think he was either FBI or the CIA. I could be wrong about that, but sometimes I get clues from the environment. And what I've noticed is that I have contacted these important agencies more than the average citizen would because of the company that I started. And when I tell people, hey, I'm an expert, and I know when people are lying to my fucking face, they're gonna send guys like the guy I spoke to yesterday. Honestly, I'm not sure what to think because while there is the possibility that he was telling me the truth, my impression was that I believed him. But he could have very well lied to me, and I believed him. So what question that raises to me is this, right? If someone is avoiding to have a conversation with me and isn't calling me, and I notice subtle changes to how my day-to-day operations have been going, I have to conclude that something fucked up is going on, and I have to be considerate that no amount of time is going to change the situation, because if I notice that I'm being squelched to the degree where I'll notice the subtleties, right, much more than the average person would. What most people might not understand is this. I do believe that there may be one agency that controls the entire world, and that all of the countries around the world, they are subordinates to the main control mechanism. I say main control mechanism because I don't really know what else to call it. Could be the New World Order, could be some initiative, or it could just be a group of rich people. I'm really not certain. But what I have speculated is that agencies like the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office, they if the people that work there think that I'm an intelligent dude, they'll have the conversation with me like they did yesterday, and they'll ask me a single question like, what year did you graduate high school? Or what high school did you go to, Shen? I'd be like, yep. All right, what year did you graduate from high school? 2003. So what these questions are doing is establishing a baseline for whether the investigator can trust the information that they're hearing from me, because they have to be able to screen when someone's bullshitting them or not. Based on the conversation that I had yesterday with this guy who claims to be Captain Jeff Brown, what I have surmised is that he's not the same person that I spoke to on February 2nd, 2021. And like the conversation that I recorded, and like I had attempted to follow up with this dude at some point in the past, and I may have even sent an email that was dedicated to the guy that I spoke to the guy back in 2021, to the investigator that I spoke to yesterday, if he was an investigator. You know, sometimes what will happen is I'll detect subtleties that other people will gloss right over, even though I haven't like listened to the audio recording that I recorded of me speaking with him. I thought about that conversation like ever since I left, because one of his responses indicated to me that the dude knew who I was, and he was trying to keep that on the down low. But I could be wrong about that, because he was writing a bunch of stuff down. These are the speculations that I make as a programmer. I have to assume that that nobody knows nothing about anything whenever I speak. And then when I repeat myself and I frame the entire narrative or the details of the story, I have to consider that when I talk to a new person, that they have absolutely zero information or details or knowledge about the story I'm telling them. And what this causes is me to have to exert more energy with every person that I speak to, because some people, I have to be considerate of overloading people with information that they won't be able to process. So when I do this, what it causes is a situation where I have to look for any form of body language that would suggest that the person I'm speaking to, they're listening to me, but they're not going to be able to retain the information. So that's why I printed up a document and I went to the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office yesterday. And some of those audio recordings are going to be alarming. Mainly because, I've noticed that there's some lazy fucks that work at the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office. And I've talked about it numerous times in many of my documents. I've talked about it in many of my audio logs and videos. And if I go around and I walk up to people and I say, yeah, there's some lazy fucks at the New York State Police and the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office, they're going to be like, I don't think that at all. Yeah. And most people aren't going to think that, because, most people follow the rules. And most people, they're shaped and molded by the societal expectations or normal everyday conversations that people have with each other. So if you are a really intelligent son of a bitch like I am, and you are able to detect people lying right to your face, what will happen is that people will try to play this game where they don't care if you know that they're lying to you. I encounter this a lot, and it's why I encounter so much resistance. It's because people take a look at me and they assume that I'm not smart enough to know when they're bullshitting me. And I am a lot smarter than I look. And people fucking constantly underestimate me. But I didn't get that feeling at all when I went to the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office yesterday, the administrative office, and spoke with this guy named Captain Jeff Brown. There's another guy that came out with him, but I didn't speak with him. I spoke with the guy that was in the white shirt, who claims to be Jeff Brown. Now, consider this, right? I have to be considerate of, being in a public place. So, certain details I can say out loud, but I'm not going to do that all the time. Trying to figure out how to migrate this audio log. I spoke about a character named Wrongful Robert earlier this morning, and the reason why I spoke about Wrongful Robert is because there's a lot of people in society that think a lot like Wrongful Robert. And Wrongful Robert is basically everything you know is wrong. And so, like, when I try to tell people, oh yeah, if you're a really smart person, then you might be being like censored like I get, right? And then most people, they're not censored, so they won't ever suspect that they're being censored for anything because people follow this hive mentality. So what I mean is this: a lot of people, they'll watch the news and they'll believe everything they see on the news because of the way that it is shaped. But the news can be very misleading and lie about certain details, or they can omit certain details that are very critical. And so it causes people to believe the smaller components of a story rather than the overall structure. So typically what happens is that people will have their perceptions changed immeasurably, and they'll believe that basically if an agency decides to tell like a portion of a story, they want to tell the whole story, but they only want to tell it where like certain elements of the story illuminate that they're like responsible individuals that never lie to people or mislead them, and they want to basically demonize any enemies of theirs. And so what will happen is this. Suppose that a police officer whips out their gun and they shoot an innocent person for no fucking reason. Right? I saw this video where a guy was like outside of his house or something, and then like a police officer thought that he had a gun in his hand, which may or may not be true. But the police officer thought that the guy had a gun in his hand, but he didn't have a gun in his hand at all, and then the police officer shot that man and killed him. So, the reason why it would be dangerous for a police officer to continue being a police officer is if that person lied in order to, like, save their ass. So what I mean specifically is this. If he didn't think that the guy had a gun in his fucking possession at all, and he just fucking shot him because, like, he startled him. Well, what that says is there's a small window of possibilities that the cop just felt like shooting the fucking person and then lying about it. And then, like, they'll be grilled by, like, their superior, and then the superior would be like, did you, like, just shoot him because you felt like it? Or was it an accident? You think that he had a gun in his hand? And what will happen is, like, it's sort of like having to believe a kid that wants to when my son would hit my daughter, and then like my son would be like, well, she started it. Oh, did she start it, or did you just feel like hitting your sister for no reason? Well, believe it or not, it's basically the same situation, but the stakes are a lot higher. And so, as an unintended side effect of all of that, I do realize that the police officers that are out there, their sense of humor is like basically over time they become less receptive to humor because of the fucked up things that they see on a constant basis. So when I come along and I capitalize on my sense of humor, it causes other people to be repulsed to some extent in some circumstances, or they'll be offended by the language that I use rather than the fucking principle of the things that I'm attempting to explain to people, right? So if I say that Trooper Rufa from the New York State Police, he sucks guys' dicks before during every arrest that he makes, if it's a guy, he will. He'll go around and he'll fucking, if he's arresting two guys at the same time, he'll fucking suck both of their dicks, one right after another. And, whether it's true or false, does anyone really give a shit? No, I don't think anybody really gives a shit, including him. I think that if anything, if he is like a police officer and he doesn't do that, he's probably going to get a chuckle out of it. You want to know why he'll get a chuckle out of it? Because like even he would never like come up with something that audacious or that clever. You know, he might get a chuckle out of it because he's like, I have never experienced when like anybody has tried to like be very descriptive and clever about like insulting me. And you know what? If anything, it's probably Trooper Rufa that watched that fucking video multiple times and he's like, this is fucking fucked up and funny at the same time. How does he even talk like that? And then before you know it, you know, he's actually walking around with a sense of pride. Like, wow, this fucking dude like took 38 minutes out of his day to fucking talk shit about me. That's fucking impressive right there, dude. You know? Holy fuck. So anyway, do I really think that he's gonna fucking be enamored by the things that I said in that audio recording? No. But do I think that he's gonna give a shit? No. You wanna know why he's not gonna give a shit? Because he's desensitized by the amount of fucking dead people that he's had to scrape out of fucking like car wrecks or like arrest and like prosecute because like somebody murdered somebody else or like assaulted them or shot them or whatever. Right? I'm not like oblivious to the fact that the police have a pretty difficult job. I've said that numerous times before. However, the job that they do is sometimes it is substandard and not satisfactory, and they have been so desensitized that you really have to like use every bit of evidence that you can against them. And that like if you notice that after having a conversation with an investigator like Jeff Brown, like I did yesterday, I went to a bunch of places last night, or the other night, not last night. I went to the Clifton Park Public Safety Building, left a notice there. I went to the Clifton Park Half Moon Public Library, left a notice there. I went to Carol Yates' house, I left a notice there. I went to Cisco on 1 Leavick Lane, left a notice there. Cisco is a place that I used to work about 20 years ago in 2004, I believe. 2003 or 2004, I'm not sure. I spoke about that in a audio log somewhat recently when the weather here was like negative 15 degrees. And like I could remember working at the Cisco warehouse in the fucking freezer. And it was so fucking cold in that fucking freezer that like you could not have any exposed skin whatsoever unless, you know, you wanted to have frostbite. And that's how bad it was that night. And it smelled like ice cream in there. And like, I worked really hard and I fucking like, I got caught in a situation where like the people that worked there a lot longer than me, they like tricked me and they started putting shit in the wrong fucking places. And this is how like people in society do the same fucking shit where they try to trick people that are like gung-ho and look like they're gonna fucking make it mad far, right? And so society is littered with all of these tricks and traps and booby traps. And investigators, the police, and all of them, they fucking use all of these tricks. The news and the media, they use all of these fucking tricks. People in society, they use all these tricks. And really, like in all of these components of society that I'm talking about, they really do like run on the notion that there's no way that someone like Michael Cook could be smart enough to explain the stupidity of like people that are highly respected and have a lot of money or reputation or trust from people all around society. And it's the reason why like humans are fucking stupid, right? Humans have a serious problem. They're fucking stupid, and they will use like their credibility or reputation to fucking slander other people. And they'll use every trick at their fucking disposal to prevent somebody like me from like making them look stupid. And they will. And even after like I've exposed how fucking stupid they'll look, they'll like try to use any fucking excuse they can think of, because they know that as long as people believe whatever the fuck they say, then it doesn't matter if I make them look stupid. But To what extent? And that's why I do what I do. So after I went to Cisco, I went all the way to, let's see, where the hell did I go next? The Global Foundries. And then I recorded a video. I didn't leave a notice there, but I recorded the video. And then I went to TechSmart, and then I left a notice there on both sides of the building. And then recorded an audio recording, right? And then I went back to Route 9 and went to the Malta Town Hall, left a notice there, right? And then I went to the Stewards Corporation and left a notice there. And then I went to the 135 Broadway, the Saratoga County Mental Health Building, the back door, left a notice there. And then I went to the Saratoga Springs Public Library and left a notice there. Where'd I go after that? Oh, yeah. I went to the Saratoga City Hall, left a notice there, right? And then I went to the Salvation Army, left a notice there. And then I went to the Saratoga Hospital, the mental health unit, and I was attempting to leave a notice on the door there when Eric came out, the social worker. And then he and I spoke for a few minutes, and I detected like some of his fucking responses were pretty nonchalant. And, I realized that having a conversation with somebody like that is a fucking waste of my time. And so, I kept it, as fucking limited as possible because, I could detect, that the dude didn't really give a shit about what I was saying, right? Oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Fucking awesome. Oh, yeah, cool. I mean, fucking, you recorded an audio recording of 3 Saratoga County sheriffs, being a bunch of fucking faggots back on March 1st, 2022. And, you say you got, the ability to fucking file a lawsuit against the hospital and the Saratoga County sheriffs. Holy shit, dude. And, he seems so fucking calm and level-headed about that, after I left, I started recording an audio recording of me, basically making fun of him. You know why? It's because I know that the notice that I handed him, he probably threw in the fucking trash. There's a high probability that that's what he did, right? So, when I go to these places, right, and I leave these notices, I know that, what I'm doing is, rubbing it in. And these people think that I'm just being fucking stupid. But the reality is that I'm causing some people to be pretty fucking concerned. And that's why, I'll notice something the following day of, a video that I posted, having, no views on it, no likes, and, sort of, extrapolating from, the other day or whatever. Did I say something offensive and, piss off somebody that's been liking my content? Well, there's a possibility of that, right? But the other possibility is this. After I recorded the audio record, after I went to the Saratoga County Mental Health and left the thing with Eric, the social service worker, I had a flat tire, had to go to the nearest Stewart's and then fill it up there. And then I rode the bike from Stewart's all the way to another Stewart's and heated up some pizza, right? And then after I heated up that pizza and was about to leave, the lady was like, "Oh, you're riding around on your bike, huh?" I'm like, yeah. So this is the Stewart's on North Line Road. They'll be able to say, "Oh, yeah. Some dude came in around fucking 9 o'clock and he asked to use the microwave. Holy shit." His name was Michael Cook and he was fucking on a mission that day. And so I continued all the way through Boston Spa until I got to where the chocolate factory is, where Anthony Russo had his company, Adirondack Technologies, and I think he eventually started Tech Valley Talent or whatever, right? Anthony Russo and his daughter Nicole Russo and I have some history. I'm not going to talk about that in this particular audio recording. What I will say is that I went to the top of the hill there. I remember that my friend Alex Whipsack's grandmother used to live on the corner there at the top of the hill, and then right around the corner from the Saratoga County Fair. And then I just continued on toward the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office, Administrative Office, and on my way there I saw a few vehicles that are being driven by the sheriffs that work at the fucking building, and I could tell that they were the sheriffs because I don't know, the way that they drive their vehicles sometimes exudes an aura of hey, I might be a cop but I might not be. How could you tell? Well, sometimes you can tell when a cop is driving around. But like, it's sort of like the same idea as like texting some girl and getting a baseline of like how they respond to text messages, and then all of a sudden you say something that pisses them off, and then they react totally differently, and they'll be like, well, I fucking had a barbecue on Pluto to go to, dude. You know, I'm sorry, I just got back. You said you wanted to hang out and have sex or whatever. Fine, let's do it. I mean, how about like next Thursday? It's like, well, you used to like answer your phone within like 10 minutes and want to like meet up within an hour. So now you're taking like 10 years to get back to me, and then you want to meet up in like 30 years. Yeah, no, something is different right now. And then so like most people in society, they're stupid and they won't notice those fucking subtle differences. And like, I don't want to say that everybody's fucking stupid, but like a lot of people, they like to use this fucking tactic where like, oh, Michael Cook thinks he's smarter than he really is, or maybe he's a fucking megalomaniac. No, I don't think so. I think what happens is that I encounter people that fucking underestimate me, and then they start to use these fucking tactics that work on everybody else. And then when I start to fucking talk about things that really matter to me, I will catch some resistance from people, because they'll try to say stuff like, oh, well, you think you're more important than you really are, dude. You know, there's no way that Mark Zuckerberg would throw a stack of cash at somebody at Google to minimize your fucking visibility, your number of views, your view count, or like downsample the fucking resolution of the videos that you're uploading. It's all in your fucking head, and that is what people fucking attempt to like convey to me, right? And then like, I accurately observe and predict people's behaviors, and then what'll happen is that people will be like, there's no way that you're psychotic, because you're predicting something that is so fucking stupid and unrealistic that like I have to say that it sounds unrealistic, even if it is entirely realistic, that like some girl that you were having sex with that would respond within like an hour or like 10 minutes, now she's taking 3 days to get back to you anytime you want to have sex with her, and you say something to her like, hey, let's fucking meet up. Oh, no, she had a barbecue on Pluto to go to, and she just got back. So like, there's no way that like she got the text message, or that she like read the text message and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna fuck this other guy and then like, fuck 5 more guys for the next 2 days, and then on the 3rd day, then when I have nothing else to do, I'll text him back, and I'll come up with some stupid excuse or whatever. There's no way he'll ever know that. And that's why I say most people are fucking stupid, because people really do like to play that stupid. They really do. There's no fucking way that some girl who wants to get fucked all the time and texts within like 10 minutes texting her and like meets up within an hour, that suddenly she's going to take 3 days to fucking get back to you and be like, oh, well, I always have my 2 phones on me, but for like, 3 days I was stuck in the fucking wilderness up in like, White Face Mountain area, Lake Placid. Yeah, I was being chased by fucking wolves, and, I lost my glass slipper right before the clock hit midnight, and I don't know, dude, I didn't know where the hell I was. I started tumbling down a hill after the wolves were chasing me, and once I got to the bottom of the hill, I guess I got knocked out cold, so how did you not freeze to death? Well, I didn't freeze to death because I was prepared for the elements. I wore a really nice jacket, and I had, 3 layers of, my grandmother always told me, wear 3 layers of fucking clothes, make sure that you don't get hypothermia. Been living in fucking, like, in the Adirondacks for, like, millions of years, basically. And then you'd be like, well, you mean, like, not millions of years, but like years, right? And then she'd be like, no, fucking my family has been like, it's been a proven fact. My family has been living in the Adirondacks for millions of years. If you don't believe me, then fuck you, I don't care. And then like, you get to this point in the conversation where like, some of the shit that you're saying sounds really fucking stupid. And then she'd be like, it's just your fucking opinion that what I'm saying is stupid. Fuck you. You're stupid looking. Oh well. So what? So what if I was hanging out with fucking the wolves or some other dude? Or I mean, like, who cares if like I fell down the side of the mountain or like got a dick thrown in my vagina like repeatedly? Who cares if like I'm lying to you? Or I mean, like, not lying to you, telling you how it really is and telling you the truth. Yes, that's why I like tell people that they're fucking stupid. Is because people will blatantly fucking lie to people, and like they know that like it doesn't matter if like they're believed or not, because like, oh well, I fucked some other dude, not you. There's no way that you'll ever know who it was, and even if you did know who it was, you'll never know where we did it, and even if you do know where we did it, you'll never be able to catch us in the act, and even if you do catch us in the act, there's no way that you'll be able to stop me from being able to continue doing it, because I'll stare at you right in the fucking face while this dude is pounding me out. I won't give a shit, even if like, yeah, no, it's like some people are fucking stupid, and to some degree, I can I do agree with like what O.J. Simpson felt when he realized that his wife was fucking some other dude, but I don't think that he had any right to fucking kill both of them. I think what he did was profusely grotesque, right? And it's a fine line between like some guy being married to some woman and like seeing his wife like fucking some other dude, and like just leaving the vicinity, versus like buying a gun and like not saying anything, and then boom, both of them are dead, or like stabbing them to death or whatever, right? And so like now I have to walk back all the comments that I made so far, right? Not walk them back specifically to like recant some of what I said, but because I want to shape it to be more comedic rather than to be like an assault on law enforcement or the justice system or people in general, and like have a conclusion where like anybody listening to this thinks that I'm just this fucking asshole that thinks everybody is stupid. I don't think that at all. I think that there's varying degrees of stupidity, and when I say that people are fucking stupid, typically what I mean is that people are naive and they don't care if I tell them that they're naive, which causes me to think, okay, so they're insulting my intelligence and my existence, and they're trying to say that I'm fucking stupid by saying that like there's no way that like Michael Cook, the fucking scruffy looking nerve herder, could be correct. Not at all. No. So sometimes I will have a conversation like I did with the investigator yesterday at SCSO, which is where I went after I saw all the cops driving down the street. And then I also saw like this same style black Charger that I saw on May 26, 2020. And I think that there is a very real possibility that the police attempted to fucking kill me that night. Now I'm seeing a fucking sheriff over across the way, Saratoga County Sheriff. I don't think he's fucking here for anything me related. I think someone hit another vehicle, and now he's there. I'm gonna like narrate this whole interaction. Not unlike the one that I did with Clayton Brownell and some other dude. Clayton Brownell is December 22nd, 2022. Clayton Brownell and another cop were talking to some dude. And then, Michael Sheridan came out, and he was, like, talking with him and stuff. Oh, I think this might actually be, like, Daniel Nelson. Maybe not. Yeah, I can tell it's, like, some of the cops, they wear this fucking cowboy hat, like Daniel Nelson does. I don't think that's Daniel Nelson. No, it's not. Not entirely sure which one that is. But, here's how like a good little investigator would go to town and do some work, right? Investigating shit. It's 4168. And he's talking with 3 adults. He just turned his flashlight on. He's fucking checking on the radio. He's like, you know what, dude? Fucking, who the hell is this? They just gave me their ID. And the other people, they're staring at him, or they're looking at him and talking to him. Right, here's what I'm gonna do. I want to get an vantage point where like the cop realizes that I'm narrating everything he's doing. Right, because this is what an investigator is supposed to do. What I'm doing right now. If you suspect that like some of your buddies are doing something fucked up, you're supposed to investigate that, not ignore it. Anyway, 3 adults They're standing around, and there's one woman, two guys. They're across the street from the Dollar Tree, right? Cop with the fucking hat on. It's a winter hat. You know, not unlike the one that I usually wear. He's in his cruiser, right? He's being cool. He's not being an asshole or nothing. He's just running somebody's fucking license like a good cop. I think he's by himself because I don't think another cop is in that vehicle. Sometimes the cops double up and they drive around and they're like, hey, you know what I fucking saw last night? What'd you see last night? And the cop would be like, I fucking saw like some dude banging the snot out of his girlfriend, like, through his window. And then the cop would be like, really? He'd be like, yeah, I was sent on a mission to somebody's house for, like, a welfare check. And I didn't expect to see, like, some dude, like, basically eviscerating this fucking girl. I could see it through the window. The other cop would be like, holy shit, you really saw that through the fucking window? Yep, I did, you know. And it was sort of like, you know, I was like, wow, that dude fucking really going to town. And the other cop was like, wow, really? He's fucking going to town? You fucking observed that? Yep. That's what happened last night. And these are the sorts of conversations that they'll have in their cruiser, driving around, having a conversation with one another. And, you know, then they'll get a call on the radio. They'll be like, hey, there's been a fucking, a barbecue gone wrong, and now there's like a bunch of people arguing, and somebody called us, said you guys need to come here because somebody's fucking doing some shady trollmeister shit. And then the dispatcher would be like, all right, well, you gotta fucking go to this address and you gotta be there within a few minutes. And then the police would be like, well, is this an emergency? And they'd be like, we're not sure if it's an emergency. And the dispatcher will say it's an emergency. And then as soon as they hear the words, oh, it's an emergency, oh, they gotta fucking hit the lights and they gotta fucking put the foot to the floor and they gotta fucking haul ass, dude. They gotta get there as soon as fucking possible because there could be somebody trying to stab somebody else or shoot somebody else, and they know that what they're driving into could be a fucking, like, their last call. And so they fucking pour all their effort into, like, driving down every road, like, with the lights on and making damn certain that no vehicles in the road, like, they're, like, gonna get in the way or nothing, and they will, like, blare on their siren and be like, burr, 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 burr. And then, like, sometimes the fucking state troopers would be like that, too. They'd be like, oh, dude's fucking going to a call. Dude's going to the call. He's going to the call. And so, like, now, fucking 10 cop cars, like, they all have their lights on. They're all fucking action-packed. They're driving like the dude in the song Cake, going the distance. They're going the distance. They're going for speed. She's all alone in a time of need. Sorry, am I on your way?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
We're in the middle of the road. Yeah, we should probably get out of the way.
Well, anyway, there is not that much action going on with this call that I'm observing. No, cop is just running a fucking check. Looks like he is. It doesn't look like it's fun. It doesn't look like there's anything really bad going on. It just looks like three people standing next to a truck across the street from the Dollar Tree, and nothing shady is happening. They're actually joking around a bit because the girl is smiling, she's laughing, she's like, this one time I fucking, like, holy shit, fucking told a joke, and, it was funny. And then the guy in his sweatshirt, he's like, yeah, I told jokes that were funny too, I got a beard, and who the hell cares? We're just fucking three people standing next to a truck, and there is a sheriff doing something. And so, like, last time this shit happened to me, it was in, like, the fucking rougher part of Albany. Yeah, and, like, the 10 cops came, and then, like, the cops really had nothing better to do, so, like, they all came. But then I was like, it's not an emergency. And then the cops were like, oh, okay, as long as it's not an emergency. And then, like, 8 of them left, but another one, like, stuck around just as backup, just in case. You never know if, like, somebody, like, down the street was going to, like, whip out a gun and start shooting, like, 8-year-old little girls. You don't want that. And so, like, the girl's like, wow, that sounds like a fucking story. He's like, it is definitely a fucking story. I'm just, hanging out. Fucking waiting for the police officer to do what he's got to do, Sheriff, Saratoga County, serving since 1791. I think that's what it says, since 1791. Serving since 1791 because that is when Half Moon split into like 4 different towns, right? It was Ballstown, so Ballston, Ballstown, and then like Half Moon, 2 words, and then Saratoga with like the GH, and then like there was another one I can't remember. Damn it. Maybe it might have been Galloway or something. Galloway. But anyway, yeah. I don't think that I need to stick around and continue to narrate what's going on because there is really nothing exciting about what he's doing. And same goes with the 3 people. Right? And so, like, the thing that I just did is that I narrated, like, what was going on. Right? So, like, I narrated what I was seeing and observing, and then I recorded it, and, like, I'm pretty good at this. Pretty fucking skilled at it. And so, I'm a fast talker when I want to be. I know, like, what behaviors to expect from people, and, I think once people realize that I'm a smart bastard, I'm basically like a fucking parrot. And they're like, oh, so you're like one of those smart parrot-like dudes that fucking remembers a whole bunch of shit, huh? And I'd be like, yup, I am one of those smart fucking parrot dudes that remembers a bunch of shit and then reports the same shit that I see and then, throws in a little bit of my vocal intonation changes and characteristics, and then I'll swing in like a fucking crusader. This caped crusader, like fucking Batman, and then I'll fucking whip out like the batarang, a couple of batarangs, and I'll fucking throw them, and then like the batarangs will like shoot like this rope that like swings around somebody's feet, and then all of a sudden a bad guy that was trying to run away, now he's on the ground because I used the weapon that fucking like wraps around his feet and nothing he can do about it. And then I do that to basically every story. I don't even know how the hell I got to this point either. I just realized that there was an urgent need for a guy like me to come around. Do I sound more like Batman? Or do I sound more like, I don't know, dude, something other than Batman? I'm not trying to make the fucking Batman voice. I'm trying to make the fucking the voice for, I don't know. I used to make this voice for my kids a lot, right? Those are all clues. Like an investigator, like Laura Hughes from the Saratoga County Children's Protective Services, like if she was good at her job, she could collect like stuff like evidence and stuff, like she didn't do back in June of 2020, right? And so like what caused me to start like collecting clues and stuff? It's because people are morons. They are careless fucking morons. They work at Shen, they work at a bunch of places in the county, and they work in the fucking investigator's office. I'm goddamn certain of it, right? Like, here's the conclusion that I'm about to make, right? The investigator that I spoke to yesterday, I don't want to outright call him a lazy bastard, because the chances are that, like, he's had to take on, like, the responsibility of, solving murders and shit. But the case can also be made that he could use that as a fucking excuse not to get back to me or follow up on, like, my investigation. And so can the people at the FBI, so can the people at the state police. And, like, what you find is that, like, sometimes what they'll do is they'll only investigate certain things. And if they investigate certain things and they pass it up to somebody who's not going to fucking put a whole lot of effort into the things that I'm talking about, or if I've insulted Michael Zerlo too many times and Michael Zerlo does not feel like being all that cool, with having a conversation with me, that he's going to use a stalling technique rather than to like fucking call me and have a conversation about May 26, 2020 and a number of incidents since then, because if anything, I've noticed that some of the exhibits that were submitted to family court with Judge Paul Pelagali, they illuminate that like people at the Saratoga County offices were playing fucking games with me, and they got really pissed about how I was like mischaracterizing some of the things that they were saying, you know, like this. You know, Michael Serlo had a conversation with Captain Jeff Brown yesterday. It's like, so, like, tell me about this conversation that you had with Michael Cook. And then Captain Jeff Brown would be like, well, you know, he seemed like a level-headed dude. Seems like he's pretty smart. And, you know, he's got this whole list of shit. And then Michael Serlo would be like, well, fuck. Nah, that means that we have to, like, casually look at that fucking thing, don't we? And then Captain Jeff Brown's like, well, we don't have to. We could just, like, you know, avoid it. And then not, like, investigate a goddamn thing if we want to. And, like, Michael Zerlo would be like, well, I've been doing that for, like, almost 3 years now. You know, this is not good. Michael Cook is fucking here. And he has handed us like a list of things that he has been doing, you know, and it seems pretty apparent that he is a really fucking smart dude, and I'm scared shitless to have a conversation with him, because the chances are that he is going to know if I lie to him, and the chances are that if you lie to him during the conversation that you just had with him, then he is going to know that he was being bullshitted. And it doesn't matter if he knows that now or later, because he probably recorded the conversation that you had with him. So now, like, we have to, like, really work hard and, you know, sort of, like, fucking use a strategy from a totally different strategy or rule book. And then Captain Jeff Brown would be like, well, you know, maybe we could turn this negative into a positive, you know, and like maybe we could like hire him to be an investigator, you know, since he's not an idiot. And then Michael Zerlo would be like, over my dead body, dude. That kid has personally insulted me so many fucking times, and my son. There's no way that I would ever allow him to be a part of my fucking police force. Not a fucking chance. And then Captain Jeff Brown would be like, well, what if we, like, you know, fucking, I don't know, maybe he could work for a different police force then. And then Michael Zerlo would be like, no, not even another police force. We gotta fucking keep this under wraps, dude. There is no way that we can allow him to be an investigator anywhere, because he is going to continue to investigate what happened back in May 2020, as well as investigating many of the fucking people at the county offices and shit, you know, because we're fucked. Even if this guy is like homeless and going door to door and like fucking taping shit to doors and shit, we're fucked. Captain Jeff Brown's like, well, that's just your opinion, sir. He might actually not be, you know, able to do any of that. And it really just comes down to whether or not people believe us. And, you know, if we, like, you know, have Google, like, keep his traffic really low and shit, and he just keeps saying really offensive off-the-wall type shit, no one will ever believe a word that he says, even if he does have the audio recordings of us having a conversation and stuff. And Michael Serlo, did he actually have a conversation with Jeff Brown like that went like that? Probably not. You know, like, the reason why I am, like, fictionalizing all of that is because, like, worst case scenario, they did have a conversation like that. Do I think that it's realistic that they did have that conversation? No, But at the same time, I am still able to consider that it is somewhat plausible. And most people in society, they would never, ever, ever come to that conclusion. They would never, ever, ever think that that was even a remote possibility at all. Because if these guys, if they lie to most people, they're going to be believed. It doesn't matter what the hell if they lie or not. As long as people believe what they say, that is what matters. And that is what causes me to think that, like, people are fucking stupid. You know, if you say something, it doesn't matter whether it's true or false. What matters is if people believe it. And that's it. And that is fucking extremely dangerous because, you know, if, fucking O.J. Simpson kills his fucking wife and Ron Goldman, and, like, he's like, there's no way I would ever do that. And then people believe him. Well, it means that, like, certain people, they'll always be able to fucking, like, lie to people and be trusted. And that is fucking very fucking dangerous. That is so fucking dangerous that I have to, like, fictionalize stories like the one that I just rattled off. Not because, like, I'm trying to demonize Michael Zerlo. You know, I think I've done that a number of times, but, like, how does he know what my state of mind was any single time that I wrote any of the fucking documents I wrote, specifically naming him or citing him specifically? You know, and there's no way that he could ever come to that conclusion. However, the interactions that I've had with many of the officers that have been recorded, I've been doing most of the recording for them. You know, they do have body cameras, but I highly doubt that they fucking save all of those, all that body camera footage permanently. If anything, they probably save it for a while, and for each case where they make an arrest or whatever, they save those. But they're not gonna fucking save, like, all of the footage of all the police officers that wear a body camera, because they would have fucking so much goddamn content to go through. They would have to have, like, some way of categorizing all of it. But on the other hand, maybe they do have enough. Maybe they have enough resources to be able to save all of that. Or maybe it's saved in fucking Salt Lake City. Maybe there's a hard drive somewhere that is saving all of the information, and it's not a portion of the government, it's a corporation. You know, all of these things are totally realistic. To think that they're not realistic is pretty fucking naive. And I would go as so far as to say it's pretty fucking stupid for people to believe everything that the police will say. You know, that's why I keep reaching back to this notion that perhaps there's one agency that oversees every single fucking place and everything. And, like, you know, all the cops all around the world, they all work together, and, like, it's fucking, no, that's fucking stupid, because Ukraine and Russia, they are legitimately killing each other. It is being seen. You are seeing, like, dead bodies on the sides of fucking streets, and you are seeing tanks being exploded in real time that were moving, and then after it exploded, it's not moving anymore. There had to have been somebody in that fucking tank. You know, it might have been radio or remote controlled, but I highly fucking doubt it. You know, people are dying over in Ukraine and Russia. It is totally fucking outside of the realm of believable that, like, there's one agency that controls every fucking country in the world. However, what I do believe is plausible is that there is a group of people that have a lot of money, and they fucking, like, control people, like, whether they do it like consciously or subconsciously. It's hard to say, but I do think that it's entirely possible that the idea of rich people controlling the entire world and having the entire world wrapped around their fucking finger, it goes way beyond, like, the clutches of fucking, like, the top 10 billionaires. What I'm talking about is, like, people that have no fucking money somehow having control over society. And that's fucking dangerous, because then they can just lie in the same manner as O.J. Simpson. And then, like, fucking lie to every fucking constituent or citizen or whatever, litigant, right? And then, like, they have to play stupid. Whenever somebody indicates that they're doing something fucking stupid, or they sound stupid, or they act stupid, you know, they're gonna fucking work in overtime to like silence people like me. And rather than to like silence me, they could put my skills to use and make me a valuable asset somewhere or make an investment in my company. But I've noticed that like some people are very hesitant to do that because of how fucking intelligent I am. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think I am, because I notice a lot of resistance. And whether like the conversation I had with the investigator yesterday, he didn't exhibit any resistance. But when I said that I've written a number of documents about Michael Zerlo, and I'd like to have a conversation with Michael Zerlo, and if we have a conversation and I believe what he says, then my documents will require an update. And then like as soon as I said that, this guy Jeff Brown was like, well, that'd be nice, right? So like, you know, I'm not oblivious to the notion that the police, like, they get desensitized by what happens in the real world, but they also get desensitized by the fact that like some people really do have fucked up like things going on in their mind. So like they don't really want to take the time out of their day to fucking like decide to figure out or determine whether or not like I'm in my mind, inside my mind, and I'm just fucking playing games with them because they're playing games with me, or if like someone on their fucking team is like actually dropping the ball a number of times, and so are the people in the fucking like the county agencies that I've had to deal with, and I think that perplexes them, and so like they're not going to investigate something like overnight. I'm aware of that. It's going to be a slow burn. It's going to be like every single moment that this dude, if this dude had a genuine conversation with me yesterday, which I believe is the case, it's going to be him applying some effort during moments where there's a very low number of things for him to do, which it could be a while. But at the same time, this case is it's about 3 years old, right? And I've already caught a number of a level of resistance from a prior investigator that called me back I called the Saratoga County Sheriff's Office on February 1st, 2021. And then this guy that I believe was Captain Jeff Brown, maybe it was Tim Brown, like Jeff Brown said. Yeah, they're cousins or something. You know, that should speak volumes right there. I remember like many of the things that this dude said, and I haven't even listened to the recording. Haven't even listened to the recording that I recorded of me speaking with him, and I remember some of the things that he said just fine in his like reactions. And I also remember like the other guy was like, "Here, Captain, here you go. Here's like a pen and a piece of paper or whatever." Right? And he started writing down. He's like asking me, "When did this incident occur?" I say June 28th, 2022. And I say, you know, soon I told them that I had audio recording. I make audio recordings much like I'm talking right now. And, you know, I didn't realize that the thing was still recording the environment for the following 16 hours. And I told, I uploaded it to my Google Drive account before, you know, my mother called 911 or whatever. And then I told them about having uploaded this fucking audio recording, and they still arrested me. And he's like, well, that's not very nice. And I was like, no. And I think that's a key feature of what I keep experiencing. If people want me to act nice and professional, then they should take some notes from the guy that I spoke to yesterday. But at the same time, I don't want to drop my guard, because I know that when people are nice, that it is a potential attack vector. And that is something that I sensed to a very minor degree when I talked with him, but not while I was there. It was only afterward, after I left, I started to reflect on the conversation that I had with him. So, with all of those things having been said, I don't know if this guy like is an actual investigator for SCSO, or if he's like FBI or state police or CIA or whatever. But what I am damn certain of is that the people at the NSA, the FBI, and the FBI, NSA, CIA, all of these agencies have heard of me. And I am very certain that they have been, some of them probably are rallying for me to fucking do something cool or awesome in my lifetime. And like, there might be somebody like Michael BTDT Pompeo. And I'll tell you what Michael BTDT Pompeo stands for. Michael Bathtub Dick Time Pompeo. That's right. Michael Bathtub Dick Time Pompeo. That's what they call him around the CIA in Langley. Bathtub Dick Time Pompeo. Why do they call him Bathtub Dick Time Pompeo? It's because the man plays with his dick in the bathtub a lot. And he calls that hard work. Because playing with your dick in a bathtub, if it is hard, then you can tell people that is hard work. Even though that is not hard work at all. That's just some dude in a bathtub playing with his dick and just having a lot of fun doing it. You know, who cares how long he's in there? That's how he got the nickname BTDT Pompeo. Bathtub Dick Time Pompeo. How does he do it? Does he use shampoo? Does he use Vaseline? Does he just fucking play with it raw? And these are the questions that I ask myself when I think about Julian Assange sitting in a fucking prison for like exposing Vault 7 among various other things. And, you know, I'm not gonna say anything bad about Barack Obama at all, but, you know, some of the dudes that worked with Barack Obama, they were fucking stupid. And Michael Pompeo is one of them. And, actually, I don't think Pompeo was the director of the CIA when Barack Obama left the office, or maybe he was. I can't remember. I think he was. And yeah, I don't know. I know that Julian Assange was raided and arrested in 2019, April 2019, I think. That was when the first picture of the black hole came out, and Derek Muller was like, "Hey, here's a video of like me talking about like what like will happen when they release the video, the picture of the first black hole tomorrow." And then tomorrow I'm going to make a new video, and I'm going to talk about how, like, what I predict. And then, well, thanks for watching. And then, the next day came, and then, Derek Muller's like, all right, folks, so I've looked at the first picture of the black hole, and you're never going to believe this, but the light is the shadow, and the shadow is the light. And that's fucking cool as fuck, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, that is pretty cool. He's like, yup, fucking mad cool. No way that anyone would ever be able to, like, say that it's stupid, dude. Because this shit's awesome. First picture of the first black hole anyone has ever seen. And I was like, well, that is cool. And I don't think Derek Muller knew that, like, I was sort of, like, you know, absorbing these details. You know, Derek Muller is a guy that I'm sure that, like, he has heard plenty of people, like, swearing left and right, and he's got to pretend to, like, somebody farting. You know, he's not gonna respond to somebody that farts out loud. You know, maybe like a close friend of his would be like, that was really gross, dude. And then his buddy would be like, thanks. You know, no, and then he'd be like, no problem, dude. You know, you really shouldn't be like, you know, farting as much as you do. You know, like, you have to consider that, like, some of the things that I'm saying are going to make anybody fucking laugh their asses off, right? And if I'm failing to cause, like, somebody like Michael Zerlo to laugh, it's probably because he has done a lot of heinous shit. And like, I would venture a guess as to like even Eric Catricala and Bruce Tansky will have laughed their asses off at some of the shit that I've been uploading or recording or whatever. But, if I record something and I make fun of Bruce Jiggle Tits Tansky, and like he doesn't fucking like say anything to me, and like he's like, stop saying negative shit about me, dude. What the fuck? I might be the guy that's been like hitting the thumbs up button on like all of your videos over the last X amount of time. Maybe I did think it was funny that you like said that me and John Hoffman like were fucking, putting in each other's poop shoots or something. Maybe I will think that shit was mad funny, because there's no way that I would ever fuck that dude. And there's no way that I would ever pull my dick out of John Hoffman's asshole and not even wash it, and then have my wife suck on it. And then, when I see the look on my wife's face, like tasting John's asshole on my dick, I would fucking... What the fuck? That is genuinely how I laugh when I listen to the shit that I record. And I know that like other people, they laugh a lot like that too. They might not laugh like that at first. Like, what the fuck? Is this dude like out of his fucking melon or something? But I have been practicing this. I'm not like fucking like living on planet fucking Neptune. When I say something, it's strictly meant to get a fucking reaction out of people. So if I notice that people aren't reacting or whatever, it's because they are reacting, and they're either repulsed by it or it caused them to laugh so fucking profusely that they don't want to make any indication whatsoever that they found what I said to be outright fucking hilarious. Because then like it would encourage the type of behavior that like, it's like worth something to society in some way. So like if I come up with a fucking made up skit where like Bruce Tansky like has conversation with John Hoffman, he's like, I could pull my dick out of your asshole, not even wash it, and then make my wife suck it, and then like she'll make the face where I know she tastes it, but she will fucking pretend like she doesn't taste it at all. And then John Hoffman will respond, wow, dude, I'm impressed. And then Bruce Tansky would be like, yeah, I'm fucking impressed with myself too, dude. Holy shit. Do I actually think that they would do that? No. But it's fucking funny. They got a lot of money, and if they have a sense of fucking humor, they're gonna find that shit funny too, and they're gonna try to like come up with ways of like, being involved in the joke, but at the same time they want to be taken seriously by other people. And then like, I would venture a guess as to say that like Chad Gregory would even get a kick out of that, because I spoke about Chad a number of times in many of the audio recordings that I've made, as well as Dan Pickett and like all these important people that like I've known growing up and shit. Like I'm talking about them in either my documents or in my audio recordings. It's meant to get a rise out of them somehow, but they're used to like everybody else sort of like going along with what societal expectations are, and they don't want to let me know that like they're paying attention, and they think that I have something going on, because they have something going on, and they don't want to fucking let the cat out of the bag. Not at all. Because like if I was a rich bastard and I was successful and I could walk up to anybody and lie to them and they would believe me, then you bet your ass that like if I saw some kid like poking fun at me and coming up with genuinely hilarious fucking skits and shit, I would have to keep that shit to myself. Because if I know that some kid is gonna fucking be recording a conversation with me and like I start laughing or make it known to him that like when he's making fun of me, I'm also laughing along with the joke, then basically a lot of people, they're gonna be like, well, you think that what he's saying is fucking funny, and then they'll have to admit it and be like, yeah, this dude is funny. And the people that like thought that I was just delusional or sick in the fucking head, they're gonna be like, well, if the dude that he's making fun of is like finds that shit funny, then maybe it is funny after all. And then what happens is people will be like, well, this dude is, I thought that he was like this big fearsome fucking dude or whatever. Now I realize that he's been involved in the joke that whole fucking time. What the fuck is going on here? You know? And that is basically the situation, right? Do I think that Eric Catchcall is going around like giving bodies a touch up after like serial killers go and like slice people's throats open while they're sleeping after Center for Security like breaks into somebody's fucking like house or their lock or whatever? Well, I mean, it's a theory. I don't know what its plausibility is, but I would say that it's relatively low. But given the circumstances and what I have observed, I think that as low as it is, it's still like far above 0%, right? I do think that certain people are getting killed by these fucking spies or these fucking assholes. Do I think that it's going to be the average everyday citizen that works at fucking Dunkin' Donuts or like Stewart's or like fucking I don't know, Burger King or whatever? No, it's not going to be any of those people. And so those people are going to find like my comedy, my sense of comedy, my sense of humor, and my intellect to be like fucking stupid because it doesn't apply to them. You know, they're very low on the totem pole, and they think that they're above me because they have a job, they're getting paid, they're paying their bills and shit. And then when they see me walking around looking like a homeless fucking vagrant, they don't realize that I'm using my appearance. I am intentionally playing into this. Appearances can be deceiving. Seeing is believing, but appearances may be deceiving. And that's just it. Somebody that has a lot of money is going to appear to be very successful, and like they're going to appear to be very trustworthy as well and credible. But the fact of the matter is that people that are like considered trustworthy and credible, they lie too. They lie just as much as the next person. They don't want to fucking say it out loud. They don't want to like admit like that they're a real person out loud where other people can fucking get a sense of like how human they are. No, what they want is like for people to believe what they're seeing on the fucking television. So when I fucking like blast like people at WTN for like saying, oh, town officials said that the Chick-fil-A that's across the street from the fucking Starbucks that I was at, like when I wrote up a response to the fucking article, that like, holy shit, the Chick-fil-A is going to bring 100 jobs to the area. You're out of your fucking mind if you think that Chick-fil-A is going to bring 100 jobs to the area. Like, even if they're construction jobs, I doubt it. The reason being, like, there hasn't been 100 construction workers building that Chick-fil-A. And, like, how could one restaurant bring in, like, additional fucking places? But also, there's a bunch of fucking vacant space around here. There's vacant property, there's vacant buildings, there's vacant lots and property, and like, there's businesses that are fucking closed, that are like empty, and they say for sale, but somehow like someone like Phil Barrett is like, the fucking Chick-fil-A construction's gonna bring 100 jobs to the area, dude. You better fucking put this on Facebook or you're fucked. And it's like, yeah, that's fucking stupid, right? And so when I make these audio recordings where I talk at length about all of these different subjects and I tape it together into a single cohesive package, I realize that like some people are going to continue to pretend like they're not listening even when they are. End recording.